Oh, how it has been. Well, a little while since I've been on this world. I've done a few things in between episodes. Nothing too big, nothing too major. The biggest accomplishment I've done is getting this actually functioning. So if I flick the lever up, this rail would now take us that way. But hello, everyone. My name is Darjane, or Tommy, and welcome back to Through the Years. You might notice that we're currently rocking a stone pickaxe and some very broken, or very nearly broken, diamond tools. So, I believe that should be the mission for today's episode, is creating a new mine area, because this one that we have up here, it functions well-ish. It served its purpose, really. And this little quarry section here too. The thing is about that is that since we made that little place down there, a brand new type of ore was added to the game. Lapis, added back in beta 1.2. This mine, of course, being done in, I believe it was alpha 1.2.0. So that's quite a while ago at this point. So let us gather the materials. In fact, do we have on our minecart? Do we have in our train station a pre-planned dedicated mine? We don't. We just have the sugarcane farm, the tree farm, skeleton place, and the mob farm over there, which I do still need to complete. We could wait, hold on. No, we could take this one. We could take this railway and run it down, perhaps, and across this way. Could work. Ooh, what to do? What to do? Or we could have. I know there was that big lake area over there. We could say maybe instead of a sugarcane farm, we have that be our mining area, but mining with water is a little difficult and a bit annoying. I think that's where I said I was going to make it, but I don't think so anymore. You know what? Yeah, I do think that way has to be the way that we go. So we take this railway and we'll bang it down. Okay, right, we have the materials. Hopefully enough rails as well. Frankly, a ludicrous amount. Call our first call to be get these rails lit. Call it a time lapse. Let's get going.
except for the decorative walls. I think that's, at the very least, the length of the railway completed. I might walk this way. I might have like a staircase going up, and then that's the actual, that's the mine storage area, and then we can go down here as the actual mine itself. But for now we need some sticks, and we need a piece of cobblestone. And let's ride the rail. It's quite a decently long rail. A little bit scary. But everything should be spaced out enough. I've actually learnt building this that you don't need nearly as many powered rails as previously thought. I've got about 3 powered rails per stack of regular rails, and that works perfectly fine, unless of course we're going uphill, in which case it's all powered rails up a hill. Oh, okay. We might even get the achievement for riding this all the way. Got this little tunnel. This one's underneath the minecart. Oh, this one's underneath the minecart, going to the passive mob farm. See, that's it's over there. Go through this nice glass tunnel, which I really like. Ah, it's okay. It's not quite the achievement. No, not quite. But I'd be willing to bet it's close. We need to get this sand smelted, make it all into glass, and then we can hopefully 4 stacks of glass should be enough to finish off the glass bit of this railway. That in there. That in there. There we go. Right, and we'll leave those smelting. I made... This is actually my 3rd diamond pick that I'm currently using. This will be my 4th. You'll notice we're completely out of diamonds, running incredibly low on gold, and we're burning through our iron collection. We're getting little trickles of iron from this rail cart project, but little trickles isn't going to sustain the amount of railways that we need. Right, nearly done with our glass. Just a couple more seconds and then we can go and finish it off. CAD is such a good music disc. I do not rate it highly enough. The best, of course, is Ward. But CAD is a strong contender. What other music discs are there? Other Side is quite nice. That one was added recently. Pig Step, again another recent one. I say, it's 3 years old now at this point, but still recent compared to the rest of them. I haven't really listened to many of the music discs from start to finish, so perhaps when we collect them we'll do a little showcase of each of them. Maybe like background music for the video will start incorporating some of the music discs wherever possible, in addition to our usual collection. So there's There's our minecart tunnel all done and completed. Now we just need to finish this open bit, which requires all of these hundreds of pieces of cobblestone. Oh, no! That was a longer fall than I thought it was. Okay. I guess that's one way to make. We did need to get down. It's also revealed to you where all of my sand has come from. Shamelessly stolen from underneath the minecarts. So this little stretch will be fairly straightforward. Oh dear, I don't think I didn't see you. There's a creeper under the bridge. Ooh, there's a cave there to explore. There's a creeper under the bridge and we can't forget about him. Because if we do, he will destroy everything. And I will be not happy. And I don't like being not happy. It's unhappy. Let's deal with this guy. Now the slabs. Take the minecart over this way. God, I love making rails. Having infrastructure like this, being able to walk to and from everywhere. This is far, far off in the future, but when we get our elytra, and we will get one. We will get one. I think I'm gonna still make an effort to make sure every... Oh, actually, hold on, I've just remembered I've got a collection of slabs. But I will still make an effort to make sure that every single area that we create, everywhere we make, is traversable by foot. Even if it's not reachable by foot, it should be traversable on foot. Or at least, if not on foot, there will be some way. It'll be connected to something. There'll be like a minecart track or a horse rail or something connecting it. We won't need just elytra, because it's one of my pet peeves with the elytra is that you don't really need infrastructure, and I like making infrastructure. And with the elytra, as I say, there's not really much point if you can just fly from place to place near effortlessly. The solution to that, I've no idea. You could nerf the elytra slightly. You could nerf its speed, I think, is one thing that might help. Or you could buff other stuff as well. Though you would have to buff them majorly, because building infrastructure like this takes both time and a lot of resources, and putting on a elytra and flying there takes seconds. I guess it all comes down to who's making it, really, I suppose, whether or not they want to or can put in the time and effort. The elytra is incredibly powerful right now. And it makes pretty much every single other method of transportation obsolete. As soon as you get an elytra, there's not really much reason to use anything else. But I'm just kind of circling back to my original point now, so I'm going to shut up and place blocks. If I end that clip there, I know a fair handful of people who'd end me, one of whom including myself, so let's not finish that where that is. Let's have ourselves a nice, proper discussion about this, shall we? So first of all, elytras. Properly too powerful compared to everything else, right? If you have an elytra, there's no reason to make or invest your time in anything else. It's the quickest way of getting around that doesn't... The quickest way outside of teleportation of getting around, and it doesn't require that much infrastructure to be made. All you need is a sugarcane farm to get the paper and a gunpowder farm to get the gunpowder. So how do we, quote-unquote, fix this, right? How do we adjust the transportation meta to make elytras balanced? There are two ways of doing this. We could either buff everything else, or we could nerf the elytra. If we buff everything else, they've already buffed horses by making breeding them easier, simpler, and a bit more intuitive to do. Just much smoother horse breeding process. Golden apples are still a relatively expensive thing to need to breed horses, but a good horse is invaluable if you have the means to use it. Apart from horses and elytras, we're going to be going over pigs, minecarts, and boats. So first of all, pigs. How do you buff pigs? That's a great question, really. They're sort of a very niche use case method of transportation. They're a very silly one. I do quite like this about pigs. I want to keep the fact that it's silly. You know, you're riding a pig and controlling it with a carrot. The way that I personally would buff pigs, I don't really need it, but the way that I would buff them is by making it so carrot on a sticks, they don't run out, and they can, well, the carrot can be replaced, if that makes sense. The actual item, like how an elytra's durability works, the actual item itself doesn't break, but it runs out of durability. Only in this case, the actual item of a carrot on a stick would still work. You'd still be able to lead the pig around, but perhaps you wouldn't be able to use the carrot on a stick to give the pig its usual speed boost. Pigs don't really need a buff. They're here for silliness. Scarce few people are using pigs as transportation seriously, so they're fine how they are. Boats are very powerful. They're very, very quick, very fast, and they require a lot of infrastructure to be built. But I think the sheer speed of an ice boat sort of but balances out the time taken to build it, right? It is, I said the elytra is the fastest. It's not. It's the fastest for its time investment, right? Ice boat roads are a lot of time invested. You need a lot of resources to build them, and they are very tedious to build. But they are fast. I think they are the fastest way of getting from point A to point B that doesn't involve teleportation. There's obviously the Trident Ender Pearl will send you hundreds of blocks very quickly, but you're teleporting there. Ice roads aren't the problem. Ice roads are just fine. Boats in general feel a little underwhelming. Personally, I'd like some way to tie boats together, to string them together, or perhaps make bigger boats for transporting mobs a little easier. Instead of like 2 mobs per boat, you could have a player and 2 like cows. Or perhaps you could tie two boats together so you have the boat the player's in and then a boat with two cows in it. Other than that, I think boats are at a pretty decent speed, and with the 1.9 changes from a while back at this point, I'm pretty happy with how boats have evolved. Minecarts is a sort of focus point for me. I really like using minecarts. I think I've said in previous videos that minecarts are what has reinvigorated my passion for working on this world. And obviously I'm building this big rail station. I have a train station and it's going to all different places, and the reason it's going to these places is so I have an excuse to use the rail station. Minecarts themselves are quite time consuming to set up. They take a long time to create, they take a lot of resources to create, and they don't really do much in terms of transportation. They're quite a slow method of transportation compared to other things. Horses, for example, are faster. Boats, just in water, I think are as fast, and that takes less time and less resources. The main thing that minecarts have over any other transportation system is convenience, right? You can get on a minecart, you can set it off, and as long as you've set up powered rails correctly, it's a completely hands-off experience going from point A to point B. But it's a very slow experience, right? A very slow, very expensive experience. So what I would do is I'd make minecart rails a little less expensive to create. The recipe for basic rails, 6 iron ingots, equating to 16 rails. That feels about right. If I had to increase it, I'd put it some like maybe 20. But I think 6 for 16 is good. For powered rails, having 6 gold ingots turn into 6 powered rails is quite expensive. That builds quickly. Sure, you don't need a lot of them. You'll need about 3 per stack of regular rails, as I have learnt and I think commented on. It's still expensive. Gold is not a common resource to come across unless you have some kind of big, massive piglin gold farm. So I would increase gold. I'd double the amount of gold rails you get. Double the powered rails, so you get 12 powered rails for every 6 ingots. As for the actual minecarts themselves, they travel decently slowly. So what I would do is I would increase their maximum speed to, I don't know how fast they travel right now in terms of like their blocks per second, but if let's say they traveled 15 blocks a second at max, I'd bump it up to 25 is sort of the increase that I'm thinking about. Another way that I would change minecarts is sort of how I mentioned I'd change boats, right? We can string them together to allow for multiple entities to be transported at once. Kind of like what the furnace minecart seeks to achieve, but, actually, works consistently. A lot of that would, or could lead to arguments of power creep, right? Instead of taking everything down a notch, you're bringing everything up a notch to compensate for how powerful the elytra is. So what if we bring the elytra down to everything else? Well, they tried doing that in one of the snapshots, and I really liked the changes. Elytra's top speed was slowed down a little bit, and it only lost durability if you use rockets. I really like those changes, so if I could dictate how the elytra would be nerfed, if it was nerfed, that's kind of how I'd do it. And that's pretty much it, really. It took a long time for me to formulate these thoughts, but formulate them I have. And here you go. Here are here's my 2 cents on the subject. This episode, fun fact, was supposed to come out sometime around October. Originally, I was aiming for a mid-October release, and then that turned into a late October release, and then it turned into an early November release, and now we're looking at a Christmas/New Year release. Because this has taken a long time for me to think about. A long time to come up with the ideas, and we've done that one now. And I will let past me talk about whatever it is they are currently discussing. Take it away.
Okay, so I might have lied a little bit when I said past me, but even still, here I am. Speaking to you from not the editing software. A little strip mine area down here is done. Kind of. There's still 2 more little spruce pillars to put in. And a lot more mines to make, with room for expansion on either side. But I've gone through a couple of completed, in quotation marks, strip mines. Let me show you the spoils, because my goodness, is it something special. Here we go. Look at all this. Half stack of lapis. That's what, like 5 and a bit stacks of redstone. 10 diamonds. Some slime, more mossy cobblestone. A plethora of coal. A little bit of iron. Some saddles. A couple of mushrooms. A little bit of obsidian. And cocoa beans. We have 2 cocoa beans now. One can be used to make cookies. One of them we will keep forever as cocoa beans. Possibly use them to kickstart a farm, but that's in the future. That's not for a little while. What I want to do right now, seeing as it's sort of Christmas time when this is being recorded, these are all Halloween decorations, or intended to be, I want to make down the bottom of the mine a little bit more Christmassy. So I'm going to head home, I'm going to grab some dyes, a little bit of wool, and we're just going to put up some decorations down the bottom of our mine. Some dandelions. And I think we've used up all our roses. Yeah, I think we used them all up to make the pink wool required for the cherry blossoms we built a while ago. Okay. We'll grab some grey wool. That could be like our wires. We'll start with a little bit of yellow. Some yellow lights. Goodness, that's terrifying. Oh, come with a friend. That should be... that should be ample enough yellow wool. Shouldn't need much. We can go set up some simple lights. Eventually we can replace them with glowstone, but for now that's far too expensive. Oh! Good dad! No! Oh god. Don't blow up. Okay. Okay. There we go. Definitely could use some more colours. Could that show me? Could do like this and place torches on the sides of them. Make them light up and shine bright. There we go. Beautiful. This video has run on quite long. I hope you have all enjoyed it. I hope my transportation thoughts made any sense. To give some brief conclusion to those thoughts, whatever changes are made, the time investment to make infrastructure like this, as I said earlier, some people just don't have time for that sort of thing, and some people don't want to do it. Some people don't really care for it. I guess ultimately it's there for the people who care for it, and for the people who don't much want to buy into a system like that, it's easily avoidable. I hope you all have enjoyed. If you have, all the usual things, you know what to do. And until next we meet again, TTFN.